Hello, everybody. We are back for Milestone 4 of the Wadroon's Path of Conquest. Once again, I'm joined by Bellum's Leo, and this time we're expanding, I suppose, into cavalry. Is that how Milestone 4 is going to go for us?
That's right. So some of my favorite milestones is when we're adding new miniatures into the army, and I think it's high time that we do that. Right? There's a lot of the Wadroon range is large. There's a lot of great miniatures in there, and today we're adding some of my absolute favorites. Of course, we are going to be adding today to the Predator's Warband the mighty Raptor Riders.
Okay.
Just absolutely great miniatures. Love painting them. You can go crazy with how you paint them on the feathers. Just some of my absolute most favorite miniatures.
And
now the great
you've
thing,
got the option of dinosaur cavalry. Take the option of dinosaur cavalry.
I know, right? Yeah, if it's an option. I mean, it's not mandatory, but let's be honest, right? Who doesn't want them?
It feels kind of mandatory. Just a standard three man unit.
Yeah, so we're going to go with a standard unit, and then we're also going to be adding a regiment of slingers.
Okay. And who gets those? The Predator again, or?
Yeah, the Predator again. So, okay. A standard regiment, of slingers. So for this milestone, we're only going to be adding these two regiments, but they are opening up a lot of new possibilities for the Wadroon. So first of all, it gives you one more regiment, a ranged regiment for the Predator to go in, right? Mm-hmm. The slingers are absolutely powerful. They have torrential fire. It means you can generate more attacks when you're closer to your target. And in later milestones, you're going to notice that we will be adding another upgrade to them, the bullet carver, that will actually be doing resolve tests on casualties. This is very powerful for range attacks. Absolutely love it. But also here, I think the most important part of your army is the Raptor Riders. Light regiment, absolutely mobile, right? With a march of 8. Mm-hmm. It has armor piercing 1, barrage 2, right? 12 inches. And like the hunters, they have strong arm. That with flurry in close combat and fluid formation, it just, especially during the early stages of the game, a regiment of Raptor Riders can absolutely wreak havoc, right, into the enemy lines. And there are other builds with the Predator that when you're experimenting, for example, with your list later on, if you're in the future are using a mounted Predator, right? Mm-hmm. If you have them, for example, on the Brood of Umgara, which is one of the items available to the Predator. Essentially, you can attach a Predator to the Raptor Riders and give them fire in advance. So move, shoot, and move again, and you can do just insane things, right? Just dominate the battlefield. One of my absolute favorite regiments, and just I cannot praise it enough.
With that movement of 8 and the 12-inch range for the barrage, that's quite a large threat zone that they project across the battlefield as well. So
yeah,
it's a 20-inch threat projection is not to be sneezed at in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and always think that everything, the stat lines that you see there, in your head, work a little bit. Think of them as something that can also use the battle cries. So that's always this full force multiplier. Yeah. You don't want to have something in your back that gets shock and all the other great rolls that you can get.
Yeah, it's very much a baseline, I suppose, that you're looking at there, and you're only ever going to be adding to that through the use of the battle cries as well. Mm-hmm. With them being light cavalry, but also having both a ranged and a physical melee threat, how do you tend to view them? Are they something that you want to bring in flanks, or would you keep them sort of front center with your main battle line and try and push forward to, I suppose, terrify your opponent or get him to move out of the way or hold back?
So when I started playing them, I tend to rush them against, other light regiments, and that works fine, but up to a point. They're quite expensive. Mm-hmm. So you don't really want to be throwing the points away that easily, right? Essentially, because especially with that list, you don't have a lot of light regiments. So you want to I think Raptor Riders are a lot more useful in this list as a force projection, like keeping that threat that if you have to deal with the Raptor Riders, otherwise you're just going to use all the battle cries and just absolutely harass you the entire game. Yeah. But at the same time, having such great movement, it means that it is, and fluid formation means that it's very easy, right, for you to always remain outside of line of sight from a regiment, which means they have to march, they have to turn around and then charge. And that means that they don't get to attack, right? So I think it's a great regiment to harass your enemy with, especially during the very early stages of the game. And you will be able to get in position very quickly. March of 8, double march, 16 inches, right, is great. But at the same time, you don't want to hold them off for too long. There's going to be a point in which you're going to have to trade them. It's just you have all the right tools to trade when you want to trade.
Yeah. Do it on your terms and not on your opponent's terms, I think is key really in that one.
Yeah.
I suppose one thing that I can't remember if we touched on it in a previous milestone or not, with the battle cries, are they limited to the range at which they can be used? I mean,
no, not at all.
Is it just battlefield? So you don't have to worry about keeping flanking forces and your light troops connected to your battle line to use those cries. You can get forward. You can use them
exactly
in a more fluid way then.
As long as they're on the table, they can gain the benefits of the battle cry. If you're just coming in, right? If you're coming from reinforcements, you'll add a marker to the sequence, but you're not going to be able to use the benefits of it. Like for example, right? But yeah, as long as you're on the battlefield, you can get all the goodies that you get from the tiers. That makes them makes them very, very good. But as always, building up the chance it can get a little tricky, because if you wait too long, right, if you are waiting to build up too many markers, it means that you might be left stranded, or your opponent will have activated, and that might mean your Raptor Riders might be in trouble. But yeah, it takes finesse. It takes a lot of trial and error. But it is a very successful regiment, especially for objective play.
And then with the slingers as well, like you say, having that additional range threat coming in, it's a very potent milestone, because up until now, I suppose we're being kind of reliant on taking punishment moving in with only one unit of hunters there to sort of deal with light chaff from other armies. Now 2 units coming in that both have a ranged ability really changes up how the mechanics of the army come together and how they play out. So you're no longer at the mercy of mercenary crossbowmen or that sort of thing.
Yeah, and both in terms of you having ranged as well, but mercenary crossbowmen are going to have a really hard time when they're setting up for a shot, or if that's the only thing your opponent has. Especially Raptor Riders are really going to give them a hard time.
Fantastic. It's always good to give mercenary crossbowmen a hard time. They deserve everything they get.
All right.
Just saying. Let us know what you think below for Milestone 4, folks. It's really coming together as a cohesive force now, and you're seeing sort of the broad scope of what exactly we can put on the tabletop for the Wadroon in the last argument of kings. We'll be back with Milestone 5 very soon. Until then, get painting.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.